A good tree does not bear rotten fruit. A couple of decades ago, I was a seminarian and I was serving Mass here on a break from the seminary, and Father Fred Gallia was also in the processional line for Mass. I cannot remember if it was inside here or out there in the amphitheater. Many of you remember Father Fred Gallia. He's gotten on in years and I've lost touch with him. Very good priest, very solid priest. Taught homiletics for a while in the seminary in Denver. Last time I saw him was up in Denver. And I approached him before Mass and I said, you know, Father, there have been people in the seminary that I've encountered that have bad things to say about this community, because we were very well known. And it was, I believe, Thanksgiving time, and you know, the folks had brought their canned goods and other kinds of food, and I mean, it was just stacked. Maybe it was in here, because maybe it was back there, what used to be the stage, on the stage. And he said, by their fruits you shall know them. By their fruits you shall know them. A good tree cannot bear rotten fruit. And it was a symbol of all that this place does, all that this congregation, this community does in bearing good fruit for the Lord. And I wanted to review a little bit of that today with you. And then I will ask in a few moments for a little bit of your input too, and things that I don't remember. Now, if I don't remember your particular ministry or your particular contribution, please forgive me. I just want to gloss over some things so we can ponder the good fruits that this parish has produced and continues to produce. First of all, and we have some of the original members of the community still within our congregation, you built the church. I heard stories about how you met over at Dobson for Masses, and then you built the church. And it's an unusual building, but it does what it's supposed to do. And I've talked about this with Deacon Chris, how it's just amazing how this architecture just puts us together to where we can connect with one another. And over these years, teen ministry, ministry to youth, to junior high, has flourished and continues to flourish. I think about how this parish has been so forthcoming in serving children. You know, one of our staff members said one time, you know, St. Timothy's welcomes children, and it does. And then we have this diversity among our community where we have elder members, and I'm becoming one of those now at the tender age of 62. And we have this diversity of our young and those that are getting on in years and those in between. And just like the physical structure, y'all added these pews a number of years ago so we could have more of a churchy feeling. I remember when I was in the seminary, there was talk about adding a school. And the community flourished and said, we would like to have a Catholic school associated with St. Timothy Catholic Church. And you founded the school. And then it moved to another location not far from where the preschool is, and daycare, and you established that too. And it started there at what was the Sunrise School, and then moved over to what was the Spirit of Joy Lutheran Church after they sold it. And it is there, the school is there, and we still have the preschool, and we have kindergarten, and we have daycare. And I remember when daycare used to be done down here, in the classrooms down here. I would come home as a seminarian and see the people dropping off their kids for daycare downstairs. And this is flourishing, and now there's a new building going up over at the school, and Mrs. Vick tells me that the hope is that they will be in that building by the time that school starts up after summer break. Kids will have a place to eat that's outside. Before they were outside in the warm weather, and now they'll be inside in the air-conditioned comfort. we've established this incredible pro-life ministry, and it continues to flourish. There is marriage preparation that does a really good job in preparing couples for Catholic marriage. We've had vocations come from this parish, and if I'm forgetting somebody, please remind me, but Father Eugene Floria, Father Ian Wintering, who went to our grade school, Father Frankie Cicero, myself. And it's a great pleasure to serve in this community. We've had a number of deacons that have come out of this community. Deacon Chris is one of them. I knew Deacon Chris 36 years ago, before he ever became a deacon. And I remember when Deacon Jim Beatty was in formation, Deacon Abe Calderon served at my first Mass right here in this worship space. And then the deacons that have come and have passed, Deacon Ollie, Deacon Dutch. If I'm forgetting somebody, please forgive me. This is what's coming to mind. We've done well to build the infrastructure and to maintain the infrastructure, right? The place is always clean. It's always in good repair. Friends, that is just not the case universally for churches. A lot of places don't have money. And I think some priests and pastors they think there's some sort of virtue in letting, and I'm not saying anybody from this place, but I've seen it. There's some sort of virtue in tightening the purse strings so much that the rectory is falling apart, the church is falling apart. I remember I was in one parish, and the drinking fountain in the hallway in the church building itself, it was not working, and I say, hey, we need to replace that. And they're saying, no, we shouldn't replace it because when the parishioners see that it's broken, they're going to contribute more You're like, no. They're going to say, I put my money in and it doesn't seem to do any good. Thriving ministries, people that are excited about going to Mass. I've just named a few. Can you help me name some others? Music. And I didn't want to say that on purpose. I wanted you to say it. I'm thinking about the music over the years that I've been associated with St. Timothy's. I've been here since '93. And I heard Yvonne's lovely voice. I hope she doesn't mind my singling her out. And you got Yvonne and you got David Morris. And Yvonne is from my time when I started here, and she's still praising the Lord through that beautiful voice. And from my estimation, she's like Gen 2. And David Morris, I see Gen 2, you got Gen 3, Gen 4. David Morris is probably Gen 4 or Gen 5. And he's a millennial as far as I understand. And then we have Sarah, who's a Gen Z. And I'm just thinking, and we still sing. The sound that comes forward is awesome. This is not the case. Not the case at every parish. And people come here and they want to sing. They want to sing. And people that don't even know sign language will sign with the deaf. And they'll pick up some people are just really good at picking up things. And we've had this deaf ministry. Now, ministries do wax and wane. And the ministry has gotten small, but it's still here. And people are still signing along with the deaf. And in other parishes, people will say with the interpreters or whatever, that's annoying, that's distracting. No. This is how they communicate. And we need to be in solidarity with people that have different needs. How beautiful. How beautiful. Others. Healing service. I believe that was established by Father Charlie, if I'm not mistaken. And he has a great heart for that. So there's this healing service where people come from all over, and our community too, and they pray over people. And then there's a couple of times a month that we do this over in the Christie Center. How beautiful is that? And one thing I can say about Father Charlie too is the liturgy. He got us on board with the general instruction of the Roman Missal, right? He endeavored to just implement these things. You know, the antiphon that we sing before we process, that was Father Charlie's inclusion. And then the antiphon that we sing before the communion hymn, that was Father Charlie, just getting us on board. And then, right, another thing that Father Charlie brought us was that reliquarium chapel. This was accidental. Through a series of events, we obtained these relics, and it was like, where are we going to put them? And Father Carlos came, and there was a display, and then there was this just desire. And one of our staff members redesigned that space, and now we have a reliquarium, which is not common in other parishes. Other ideas? XLT, right? So I don't know how new that is, but it is something that has been experienced in different parishes. And it used to be, I remember when I first came here, they were doing it over in Tempe on a large scale, and I don't know what ever happened to that, but the young people here in the music ministry and in youth ministry say, hey, let's bring that here. And we're doing it. It's going to be this Thursday. It's a wonderful way to bring in Lent, other ideas, other observations, I should say. OCIA. So I'm not exactly sure why it changed from RCIA to OCIA. But here's this incredible ministry that has persisted through the years in bringing people into the church that want to become Catholic or want to go further in the sacramental life than they did when they started out. And what a beautiful ministry that is. Others? The gift shop. I mean, it's been here for a very long time. And because music is sold differently, we used to do better financially as far as the gift shop because of the music, and now it's sold differently, but we have been able to maintain that service for our parishioners. What a beautiful, and, you know, it's open on Sunday. Others. Social hall. So we've expanded that, and we made it a little more high tech. And it's just, we raised the floor. So, I mean, I was always afraid somebody's just going to do a header down into the dance floor, and you're like, ooh, that's going to really, really hurt. Others. St. Vincent de Paul has done their ministry for decades and persists in helping the neediest within our parish boundaries, helping those that need help. Others. Paz de Cristo. Now, somebody reminded me of the roots of Paz de Cristo last night, where I can't remember the name of the director, but they were going out to the fields, to the orchards, to bring food to immigrants that were working in the fields. They were sleeping out there under the orange trees. And I went out with them a couple of times, and we had a communion service, and then we had a meal, and then we had a dessert for them, and they would just appear from the orchards and come and join us. And that was the foundation of Paz de Cristo, which is now a freestanding ministry, a service on Broadway Road. Others. Women's ministry. So there's this women's fellowship. Now, I don't know how old that is, but they meet every Thursday upstairs in the Spirituality Center. Any woman can join them. And these women are tight, right? So when someone in their community passes away, because you have women from varying age groups, they all show up for the funeral. And it's beautiful. But they do some wonderful work up there. They have presentations, they pray together, they sing together. It's beautiful. Others. Knights of Columbus. They have done a phenomenal job, and they supported me all through my seminary formation, all the way through 8 years. Wonderful guys, nothing but good things to say about our Knights. Online mass. So right now, we're online. And this is something we wanted even before COVID. You know, we had a former sound director, I'm trying to remember what, AV coordinator, I can't remember the name of the position. But we came to this point, it's like, look, this community is phenomenal, but we've been here now for almost 50 years, and some of our parishioners are no longer able to go to Mass. And Veronica, if you're watching, I'm praying for you today. I went to visit her this week. And I said, yes, they can watch Mass on cable. They can get Mass on the internet from some other place. But what a beautiful thing to be connected to our community on Sunday when you can no longer make it to Mass. What a beautiful thing. And so Chad said we have everything we needed to go. And so we started that up, and then COVID happened, and we already had the technology in place. All right, if I forgot your ministry, please forgive me. But by their fruits, I will say too, one of the new ministries is the Porters of St. Joseph. What a beautiful security men's ministry, Men of Iron. You know, I will say one more thing, the elevator. If I were to die before that elevator went in, I would feel that I failed at life, because I could see the need for it way back when I was a parishioner. And it's like, if it's my dying act, that's going in. And for the first time, I needed it last Sunday. So I've been doing a lot of walking, and for some reason, I'm fine. And then other parts of the day, this ankle really starts to hurt, and I feel like this old man that can barely walk. And so after Mass, they said, Father, you're hobbling around. Why? Because my ankle hurts. Why does it hurt? Because it hurts. And I take the elevator up, and I'm walking across the parking lot, you know. And, you know, I'm going to the rectory, and so I have to cross Pennington. So, you know, I'm walking across, you know, and it's getting dark, and this car rounds the corner at 30 G's, and I'm at the center line, and he stops next to me, and then he rolls down the window, dummy! And I said, excuse me? And then he rolls down the street, and out the window, he flies the bird. God will do what it takes to humble us, I guess. And he had veterans plates, which really, that broke my heart more than anything, right? Because I love veterans, I love first responders, I love firefighters, police officers, military people, I love them. And it's like, dude, I think you're just driving somebody else's car. By their fruits you shall know them. A good tree does not bear rotten fruit. And this community is bearing good fruit. And if the Lord would speak to you today, and I know he is, he would say, well done, my good and faithful servants. Well done. Keep up the good work.